Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. Senior centers are part of the pillars of senior care when it comes to seniors in San Diego County. There's an amazing nonprofit organization that helps support senior centers in the important work they do, and that's the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation. Here to talk to us today about that foundation is Kris and Thomas. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. So, Kris, we're going to start with you. What is the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation? Why was it started?
Yeah, so we're the first community foundation focused on seniors in the country, if not the world, that we know about. And so our founder, he started the San Diego Foundation, which everyone knows in San Diego. And it's a grant-making organization. It is a place where funders go with their passions and they give monies towards those different areas. But he saw a need for funding for seniors because less than 1% of philanthropy goes towards seniors. And so he had one of the most wealthiest people around him donating to the San Diego Foundation who would call him very lonely when something happened around aging. They lost a spouse, they got sick themselves. They didn't have the answers. And so someone with all the resources, all the money in the world, didn't know what to do about aging. He said, you know what? I'm going to retire. So he ran that for 20 years and started the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation and said, I'm going to do something about aging here in San Diego. We need to build infrastructure. So that's what we're doing. We are a community foundation increasing philanthropy for senior and aging throughout San Diego.
Great. And the focus I know we talked about was sort of that senior center model because there's a lot of potential service out there for seniors that seniors don't know about, and one of them is senior centers. Thomas, talk about that and senior centers and their role in seniors' lives.
Sure. So when you take a look at the challenges that seniors face, you have a really complex set of challenges, right? You have increasing costs of health care, the cost of long-term care, just the financial challenges as you get older and making sure that you don't run out of retirement savings. And so when you look at these problems, there's problems that all of us face, and they're very, very interconnected. So the only way to really approach a series of complex, interconnected challenges is through an infrastructure that sort of combines solutions. So if you take any one of those things away, like homelessness, it's a really difficult thing to address. But if you can create an infrastructure for aging that brings together different services in that one location, you can create a lot of impact that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the big thing is here in San Diego, as you've told your viewers at home and know that there's going to be a big pop of a senior population, about 930,000 seniors over the age of 60 by the year 2030. That's 7 years away. We've never seen this before happen in our lifetime, and we don't know what to do with them. So looking back on history, in the early 1800s, when everyone was migrating from the fields into the cities, we had a bunch of kids running around, smoking cigarettes, causing trouble, and everyone's saying, what are we going to do with this kid population? Because everyone had 6, 7 brothers, right? The Italians and the Irish kids. So anyway, they said, all right, let's create this thing called a playground. And then the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, teacher unions, and they created a clubhouse for all these kids to be and get out of trouble and off the streets. So that's kind of what the foundation is looking at, is how can we build a sophisticated network of senior centers or a place for all the seniors to go, but places that you and I want to go to and all of us want to go to and enjoy. So we feel the most impact in San Diego is to really enhance a senior center around the whole entire county, but they have to change because right now they're underfunded, understaffed, institutionalized, and we're doing something about it. So we've given out about $2 million now to senior centers, improving the senior center model. That's programming, that's projects, that's capital improvements, and more. And so we're really working hard on that. So that's what we feel like we have the most movement, and we believe we can do that because we've seen it happen with not only the 1800s, but also with libraries here in San Diego. We really enhanced and empowered libraries across the county. And big philanthropists like Sefton, the Herveys, the Jacobs, all got involved and did that as well. So we believe philanthropy can really fix this issue.
Yeah. I know there's some myths as far as senior centers is concerned. That's just for old people to go play bingo. And while bingo does exist at senior centers, it's not just what takes place there. I like the infrastructure of senior centers because they're all over the county. So you're not that far away, no matter where you live, to some sort of senior center. But there are some myths that you have to overcome.
Oh yeah, because do you want to be called a senior, Bryan?
Right, exactly.
No. So we got to brand
Not even in
them.
high school I wanted to be called a senior.
Well, yeah. Our whole life we're trying to get older, right? You're 4 years old. You want to go to kindergarten. Then you want to be in 6th grade. Then you want to be in middle school. Then you want to graduate high school. Then you want to in college. You want to get your driver's license. But then when you start to age, you're like, oh, I don't want to age. So with senior centers, we brought on a professional marketing expert to rebrand and refresh the senior centers. And what else can we call them? But Thomas, maybe you could talk more about the programs and projects in the future of what we can do.
It's interesting that since the time that they started the work at the Seniors Community Foundation, the number of seniors, you're right, so a lot of the senior centers are kind of old and drab, and most people go there for meals and for bingo. But since we started our work, we've seen that this idea of senior centers of the future is really taken on. So when you look around the country, and here in San Diego, you see more and more senior centers that are starting to bring on other services and programming for seniors. So in Encinas, they have a pool hall. They have an aquatic center in Oceanside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And so it's the model's evolving. I think it's not evolving fast enough, but they're getting more and more sophisticated. There's one in Sun Valley where there was an old 50s style soda shop that was closing down, and so the senior center there actually brought it inside. And so they have this with the soda fountains and the whole thing in the senior center there. But you're seeing hair salons, you're seeing podiatry, you're seeing lots of services you wouldn't normally think of as existing in senior centers starting to pop up. Yeah. So the model is changing.
Yeah. The physical, the mental, the financial health of seniors. And so our goal, so one of our pilots we did was a navigator inside senior centers. So if we had a Bryan Devore in every senior center that was there to answer your housing issue, your financial issue, and all, a live person to talk to, that's kind of what we're looking at, a more tailored experience, and focusing on the low income to the silent middle senior that retire in middle income but then die in poverty. Right. So how can we avoid that? So we've been working with a lot of institutions to do financial planning for lower income seniors. And like you teach, we did elder fraud prevention with the FBI. Yeah, great. And so that's been really good with support from Wells Fargo. So it's been a long haul and fabulous. But these are the types of programs and projects to go. And a fun, quick story. So the rebranding, or what is a senior center? When we talk about senior center, we're talking about community centers that are in every single community in San Diego. Because most people want to age in place, like you've seen with your clients. Yeah. So if there's a place down the street to go to for answers, to do physical, mental, financial health, then I'm going to go down the street. Easy to get to, transportation, stuff like that. So, but we had this elder fraud prevention seminar. It was publicized all over, and some folks came from, it was in Encinas, and so folks came from Encinas, Rancho Santa Fe, Del Mar, other areas around. And we had so many people come up to us and say, I didn't know this existed. I live 2 miles down that way. This is gorgeous. I have a square dancing club. Can I bring my group here? And that's what we want to see. We want to see the community engagement, involvement, and get into your senior center. Go, if you haven't seen one, check one out, because you'll be pleasantly surprised most of the time.
And we hear that all over San Diego. It's like there's the Ed Brown Center in Rancho Bernardo. It's on a beautiful piece of land with another sort of intergenerational center, but it's sort of tucked back there, and most of the people in Rancho Bernardo don't even know it's there. Right. And we hear that everywhere we go here in San Diego.
Well, and that's one of the things that I find too, is there's so many great things for seniors, and there's lots of seniors who need it. They just don't know about each other. So hopefully, this video will help get the word out. And I know when we talked about no senior left alone, that's an important mantra for you guys.
That's our biggest focus, Brian, is senior orphans. A lot of folks don't like that term, senior orphan. But that's what they are.
It's
a lot of people. It's a real thing, but people say solo agers. But when I say senior orphan, there's about 130,000 elder orphans in San Diego. Now, if there are 130,000 kids running around, orphan kids around San Diego, people would be losing their minds and collecting them. We'd have 10 at my house, I'm sure.
Right, exactly.
But these people are living alone. They don't have any family. The family moved back home, maybe back east for the big hotshot job. Their spouse passed away, and they're alone. They have no answers on aging. They have no heirs or whatever's happening, but we need to support those people. So what we've done every year is we have the No Senior Loan Initiative. It's all year long, but especially around the holidays. No senior loan for the holidays. So what we do is we raise money and we grant it out to senior centers. We say, here's some money to put on holiday programming, events, extend your nighttime hours, because that's the most loneliest time for a senior. and invite the community to your senior center so that people don't have to have a holiday alone. And the stories we get and the people we run into saying, hey, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have a Christmas. I wouldn't have
amazing.
a Hanukkah. It's unbelievable, and how little goes so far, especially in aging. So we would love a lot of support and a lot of help with getting the word out and raising funds and really adopting a senior center and creating this really incredible environment to a holiday experience for people who wouldn't have a holiday otherwise.
Right. And sort of on the opposite end of the spectrum of seniors aging alone are the seniors who are taking care of their grandchildren. And that's a topic that we talked about that's important to you too.
Yeah, it's a big one. There are a lot of people in San Diego raising their grandchildren due to incarceration, opioids, or whatever the issue is. So we grant monies to support these grandparents. We had a grandparent retreat that are raising grandkids with Say San Diego, and it was huge, sharing resources, and also maybe now you have someone's number that's going through the same thing you are, and now we have play dates. They are not alone. But in October, it's free grandkid or kids museum month. So we want to grant monies to grandparents raising grandkids to take their kids who are already free, and we pay the admission fee and transportation for the grandparent and the grandkid to go to museums or the safari park. We did the same thing in February for older adults and low-income people. People who lived here for 30, 40 years never had the opportunity to go to the safari park. And here we are. I mean, it is, a little goes so much, but it's needed.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're after.
Yeah.
And I think that really speaks to the caregiving aspect. When you look at the increase in population of older people, there's a strain not on the sort of parents of children looking after their grandparents. They refer to it as the sandwich generation. But I mean, those kind of stresses on caregivers are starting to compound. And so you have adult children moving back in with their parents. So you have people taking care of their adult children as well as their aging parents. They call that the club sandwich.
Yeah.
And so
So this really is the future of senior care, is this support network that you guys can provide.
And the untapped potential of seniors of what they can do. We really believe in volunteerism and civic duty for seniors, because we want to do a program that's called I'm Retired on Board. Because a lot of people sitting at home don't know that there's all these opportunities for them to volunteer. So get 1,000 seniors to be with 100 nonprofits. But did you know that if you wanted to, you could go to the San Diego Zoo and apply to be one of the volunteers, docents that says, here are the pandas. That's a volunteer position. People don't know that. There's cool opportunities in a lot of different nonprofits like the zoo, Balboa Park, other areas that people can volunteer. And they have a sense of purpose. And maybe it's with kids. Intergenerational is also
I see
really
that
popular.
at the Midway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a perfect
The
example.
docents are fabulous, and they have so much knowledge. But same thing. But we also want seniors to, if they have to go back to the workforce, we have a program where we help train them and put them back in the workforce with the San Diego Workforce Partnership. But also, if you just need a sense of purpose, or your wife's saying get out of the house, whether it's a senior center or going to volunteer for an organization, it's really, really great.
Well, you guys are doing great stuff. The information for the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation is on screen. If you're watching on video, you can see it. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you cannot, but it is in the caption. Thomas and Kris, thank you so much for coming today and telling us about the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for all the good work
Great
you
seeing you,
do.
Bryan.
My pleasure.
Yeah.